How's everyone?
Good.
Glad to go for my walk, man. I'm stay in shape so I can fit my coaching uni. Few tickets still remaining for the North Dakota State. We're gonna sell it out, so what they waiting on? Let's go. Kickoff luncheon yesterday, over 1,000 fans came in attendance, which was wonderful. But the freshman welcome night last night was awesome. Over 7,000 freshmen. Total enrollment now be over 37,000. More than 67,000 applications were processed for newcomers this semester, up 20%. Blah, blah, blah. Applications for people of color. That mean us, all of us. Up 29%. Applications for black brothers, for the brothers up 50%. North Dakota State, Coach Parlo, right?
Yep.
Wonderful coaching history, wonderful coach. I got the utmost respect for he and his programs and what he's accomplished through his coaching career. Coming over from Wyoming, OC and DC, quarterback coach the last 3 years. They won 17 national championships, including 9 since 2011, 37 conference championships. So this team will be well prepared, they will be disciplined, and they will come to play. Let's get started.
Hey Coach, Tyler King with the
How you doing,
Governors.
Tyler?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Excellent.
I wanted to ask a little bit about kind of the locker room overall. You guys, not just your son, Shador and Shiloh, there are multiple sets of siblings on the team.
I think we have 5, don't we?
Five, six, yeah, six. Yeah, I was just curious what kind of unique atmosphere maybe that creates in the locker room and how that maybe strengthens the term brotherhood that you guys have.
We want all of the young men, regardless of the ethnicity, to understand it is truly a brotherhood. We just happen to have 6 siblings on the team, which is a blessing, which is unbelievable. It's not like we target that and try to bring it in, but oftentimes one of those kids can really play, then we find out that the sibling can really play as well. So to create that type of brotherhood in that environment, we just invite them both to play for us. So that's a blessing, it really is. I think that's got to be leading the nation.
It's tied, Coach.
Ty, whoa.
Utah State.
Man. Amen.
Go ahead, Rylan.
Ron Scholes from Ralphie Report. You're playing a team that's going to run power for vast majority of the game on Thursday. How do you feel about new defensive front? You got guys like Deion and Sam and Chidozie, and then.
Well, you talking about some of the pass rushers that you just mentioned. That's why we revamped the things to stop the run. The number one thing was to be able to run the ball, protect your door, as well as to stop the run defensively, and that's what we sought out to do, and we feel like we've done that. We don't know how it's going to play out. We think we know how it's going to play out, but don't underestimate the depth that we have at those positions. You never know from practice to practice who's going to start. We have 2 phenomenal defensive line coaches, and you're throwing Coach Dancy with the rush ends, and you got 3 phenomenal guys with a wealth of knowledge as well as experience. So I'm excited about what I've seen in practice. I'm excited about what I feel like we're going to see next Thursday, because right now these guys are tired of hitting each other. They want to hit some other colors right now.
Coach, just following up quick on the locker room, I also wanted to ask about Camden Dempsey. Obviously, he's got a new role as a governor this year. What's it been like for you to see his kind of emergence as kind of a notable figure in the locker room over the last couple of months?
He's been that way since I arrived. I've noticed his countenance. I noticed his just who he is on the field as well as off the field, and he just not only inspires me but encourages me to want to do more for him, because I know what direction he's going to go soon thereafter football. I know the history of his family, how much CU means to them, and you're talking about a great young man. He is all of that, so that's why I wanted to create a special role for him to get him more involved in what I feel like his career path is going to be. I don't want him to wait till it's over for him to get started. I want him to get started right now. But I love him to life, I really do.
Good, Nikki.
Hi, Coach.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? Nikki Edwards, 2 Sports Report. I'm just curious, how has it been adding George Hilo to the staff, and what does he add to the defense?
He's unbelievable. You're talking about a pro. You're talking about a guy who's professional, a guy who's very knowledgeable, a guy who's, you don't have to tell him what to do or question him on what he accomplished this practice. You can see it. You could hear it in the energy that he displays when he's one-on-one with the kids or he's coaching a group. He commands their attention. He's track record, and it's unbelievable. He's been everywhere, and he's also done a wonderful job. I'm happy we have him. I really am happy we have him. As well as Adelius Thomas. I don't know if you guys have seen AD at practice several times, but he comes back and forth because he's fathering his son, and that's more important to me than anything. But he's doing a wonderful job. He comes in and helps us as well.
Hey, Coach, do you name starters at positions where there will be like rotations, such as running back or wide receiver?
It really don't benefit us to name a starter. That's for you guys. If you want that, we'll probably try to provide for you, but that don't matter who starts the game. It matters who's finishes the game and who makes the most out of their opportunities. If some guys, they play better, coming in late or third down, or coming in on the nickel or dime packages or the 3-down receivers, the third down receiving package. Some guys are just built like that. Some guys, they play better early. Then you tire them out for the other guy, and the other guy comes in and kicks butt. But the best thing about that is to have enough depth to be able to do that. You can close your eyes and point at the receiver board and pull out a starter. Same thing with the defensive line. Same things with the outside linebackers. Same thing with the cornerbacks. Same thing with the running backs, and so forth. So I love the roster that we've established. I love what I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis, not only from the players, but from the staff as well. Those guys are challenging those guys to do their jobs at a high level with no exceptions, and that's what I love. I'm surrounded by a bunch of pros who knows how to attack the game.
Go ahead, Adam.
Hi, Coach. Adam Worcester Tiger,
What's going on,
24/7 Sports, doing well. You were talking at the kickoff luncheon about last year instilling hope and that transitioning into expectations.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, what are your expectations with this football team going
Tremendous.
this season?
I'm never gonna. I don't think even in my career when I played, I never talked about what I was gonna do, contrary to what you all believe. Never talked about what I'm gonna do. I want to win. Certainly not. If you got to be an idiot if you don't want to win in life, or you don't want to win as a coach, that's just stupidity. If you don't want to do that, so that's necessary that I say those type of things. But I expect to do some amazing things. Will I share those things that we expect? No. We got several players that I expect the world from, and I expect to count on them in so many different avenues and facets of life. I brought them into my office. We've talked about it. They filled out some a sheet and let me know what do they want to do, what they need to work on, and how they can help this team. And I'm going to hold them accountable to that. But as far as just sharing out my expectations, I don't even do that with life.
Hey, Coach. Jack Parlo with Buffalo.
Jack
Sport.
Parlo. My man.
Good to see you, Coach. Just curious with Hank Zelinskas, he had a really good spring.
Yeah.
It seems like he's kind of held that starting job this fall
He is.
camp. Just what has allowed him to perform this well?
Consistency. Hank is not only smart, Hank is consistent. He comes from a family of people that are truly consistent ball players. But Hank is not only a great young man, but Hank loves the game. He loves to compete. He loves to be that underdog that a lot of people counted out, and he just slowly but surely, like a little engine that could, he just kept saying, I think I can, and next thing you know, he's a starter. And I'm truly proud of him. We've done some special things with Hank to kind of keep him in the middle of certain groups that we have, so he can understand the communication and articulation and how people vibe, and he's got it, man. And I'm proud of him. He's done a wonderful job. He's one of those guys that didn't flinch. He didn't flinch. Stood up. He, Trevor, Ben, and so many other guys, the governor, so many other guys on this roster, they didn't flinch. They're still standing. I wonder why they never get interviews nationally. I had to. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pat.
Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera.
Pat, what's up, man?
Not much, Coach. How are you?
Good.
You mentioned yesterday at the luncheon that you feel like the improved roster depth can lead to better special teams this year.
Yeah.
I guess, what do you think, how do you think you can get more out of those units this year?
First and foremost, our kickers, let's talk about the specialists. We have one that should be a pro. Mate is unbelievable. I'm sorry, I'm so used to calling him Mate. I'm so used to calling him Mate. I love him. And Mata is Mata. Jace is doing his thing. He probably get to start the nod on kickouts because he's been consistent all through spring and all through now. But those guys are really good. Now finding the coverage teams, you have so many athletes. You have probably 5 starting corners, so those guys will fall to special teams. You got probably 4 starting safeties, particularly. You know, you transfer those guys to the special team. Don't forget Carter Stockmeyer and so many guys that contributed last year. Isaiah Hodge. I mean, you got so many guys with talent. Gant. I'm just looking at these guys in my mind. Which could compile a tremendous special team. But what I do, particularly, guys that I feel like has pro aspirations, we give them the nod. They're going to have to prove that they can't do it, not prove that they can. We're going to give them the nod to go out there and try to fulfill their dreams and aspirations. So if it's a senior and a guy like Bentley, you know, not only is he a linebacker, but when he makes the NFL, he's going to have to play special teams. So you get him started with that now. He and guys like JB, Jeremiah.
Pat, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Pat,
How you doing,
Coach
sir?
How you doing? Hey, when you're playing an FCS team, is it easier to get everyone's on board when you say, hey, they won 17 national titles, and you show them the film, and they look more like maybe?
No, I don't think that encourages them. I think, you know, who we are encourages them. You know, everybody knows, everybody want to beat us, you know, and we want to beat everybody. So that encourages them tremendously. They know they're on national television. They know the world is watching. I think we had 4, 5, maybe 5 scouts out there today, scouts out there every day watching practices. They see that kind of stuff. So regardless of who you place on the roster, not the roster, the schedule, these guys want it. They want to go out there and dominate.
Go ahead, Matt.
Coach Matt Smith, 104.3 The Fan. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You've coached,
Why
obviously.
you never invited me on your show?
Would you like to come on my show?
I just wonder why you never invited me.
I wasn't sure that
I
you'd
would-
come on.
why-
I'd love to have you
Why
on.
wouldn't I come on?
I don't know. I've reached out before when you
Who
first
do
got
you
here.
reach to?
I reached out to the department, and I never heard
They're right
back.
there. You know they're right there.
Yes, I understand. I understand. I reached out to the
I got
department.
you. I come on your show.
I would love that. Thank you very much. So, I'm curious. You've coached your children obviously their entire lives, and you haven't coached a game without them. Does this feel like a culmination for you arriving to this season now, this being the last go around, and obviously,
For with my sons?
or just in your life,
No,
really?
it's not the last go around for me.
I-
I'm just getting started in this college football.
Does it feel like the closing of a chapter? Is I guess
With
what-
my kids, yeah, certainly. I don't think it's the closing. It's just different levels to this thing. Although I'm 100% sure that I'm not going to be their coach next year, I'm still going to have influence on their lives because I'm their father. So, you know, I play 2 roles in their lives. And just so happens when I'm on the field, I'm not dad, I'm coach. So off the field, that's when I become dad. So I'm still going to play those roles. I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of Junior. Bucky, he don't have a uniform on, and I'm so darn proud of him for what he's doing for us, you know, as a school, as a social media, and he's changing the game. So he's probably the MVP of everything right now. He's not jealous, not envious. He loves his brothers, and you can see it and hear it in his voice when he's filming them.
As a competitor, an elite competitor that you were, I imagine that
That I
post-play,
am.
that you still are,
Yeah.
clearly. I guess post-playing career is what I meant. It
Yes, sir.
changes, right,
Yes, sir.
for different athletes. I've worked with plenty of them that experience different, things after they retire. Does it feel like this season, heading into it for you, is maybe from a coaching standpoint some of the most competitive juices that you've felt yet?
That's a great question. Everything I do is competitive. I mean, even endorsements, even just talking to the young men and women last night, the freshmen. So I'm just a competitive person. We just walked during the 2 miles, and I had to win. Like, I'm gonna turn it on the last few steps. I had Jay Field and Coach Parlo. I think I can get them anyway. But we compete. So I'm a competitive natured person, not only with sports but with life. I want to win in life. I want you all to win in life. I don't want anybody in this room to lose. I want you all to be successful. But let's go about it the right way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark Chisla, Denver Gazette.
How you doing, sir?
Good. 2-parter.
Okay.
Go back to the elite competitor. Do
Yes,
you
sir.
think an elite competitor blocks the outside noise or feeds on the outside noise?
You don't care really because it don't influence you. I've never read an article or a comment and said, oh, that's gonna make me go hard. I'm gonna go hard regardless. But that comment just allowed me to know where you stand.
Okay.
So that's the only differential of the thing. It doesn't propel me. Where I came from propelled me.
Okay.
How I grew up propelled me. Like, being African American, one of few that's the head coach in college football, that kind of stuff propels me. It's not what you say. That lets me know where you stand.
Okay, the second part goes to where do you stand, or where do I stand, or where do we stand together? So I hope that I'm covering you from now through the college football playoff.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I pray so.
Yeah. But I'm also known as a person that sometimes asks less than supportive questions or critical questions.
I don't
So if I
mind.
ask a negative question,
I don't-
will you not answer them anymore?
That's being negative right now. Like you take an approach that I'm gonna be negative. I'm not negative to anybody in here. I would challenge you and ask you why or where is this coming from. So I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. I'm not a hateful guy. I come with love. I think if anybody in here has had encounters with me, I don't come with the bull joke. I come with the peace and the joy. Now, when you show me where you stand, I might have to change that a little bit. So I'm not gonna match your ignorance or whatever. I'm not saying that you're ignorant, but a person, I'm not gonna match that. Well, that's your prerogative. I don't have to come where you are, because my life is complete. I don't like what you say, what you do is not gonna change my life.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah.
With as many good things happening in this program, this
Mhm.
football program, do you feel persecuted by outside noise?
I don't know about persecuted. This is a way of life for me. You guys act like this is the first time I've been shot at. I've been lied on, cheated, talked about, mistreated. That's a gospel song. This is not the first time for this. But as I mature, instead of shooting back or lashing out or just dismissing you, I want to know why. Like, let's have a joke. Let's figure out the why. Because if you understand the why in people, that helps you tremendously. Because that's all I come for. I just come to find, I want to know why. What provokes that?
That probably takes longer than the press conference.
What's on?
Hey, Coach.
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
Troy Finnegan, CU Sports Report football question. I wanted to ask you about the tight end spot. Last year you guys had Mikey, more of a converted receiver. Shedeur talked about Sam Hart a couple weeks ago. I'm curious what role that position has in this offense this year.
Block first. Block first. Receiver second. Block first, receiver second. Because you got to understand, last year Mikey did a phenomenal job, but defenses didn't change because we had a tight end / receiver in. And it don't make sense if the defense don't change. So if the defense not changing, why don't you just put a receiver in? So that didn't make sense for me for multiplicity of reasons. So when we put a tight end in, we want that personnel to change on the defense so that we could do some of the things that we want to do. That's the reason we put 11 personnel in. Or we might as well just go 10.
Arnie, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Arnie Stapleton.
How you doing? Are you okay?
I'm better, but I'm good.
What happened?
Carpal tunnel surgery. I got this one coming in 3 weeks.
Wow.
So,
I'm
yeah,
praying for you. I hope you're all right, my man.
I appreciate you. Hey, I got a question. I see you brought Ed Reed in.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering what it's like for you to be able to tap into this NFL royalty, and then obviously you got Warren Sapp, and so it's a two-parter. What's it like watching him sort of connect with the youth like you have?
First, bringing in these young men, as well as women. You probably don't get to see all the videos that the people we bring in. Some we just zoom them in, and they do a phenomenal job. Louis Riddick was on. He zoomed in as well. He did a phenomenal job. So it's not just the guys who have gold jackets. It's guys that I feel like could pour into our young men, and they have value that these young men could take back with them. First of all, Ed Reed is Ed Reed. You just say his name, that commands attention. So when he said, no, I don't want to do a Zoom, I'm coming. So the come here and they see him visually and then he's on the sideline, you know, saying this or that, or maybe giving them pointers here and there about how to play this position and what they saw in that read and all that. It's phenomenal to be able to tap into those resources. Also, just give me the second part.
I was wondering what it was like for you to have Warren Sapp and watching
Okay.
him connect with the
Awesome.
youth.
Coach Sapp, he has done more than a phenomenal job. Just the connectivity, just the understanding the different type of players and the layers they have. Like this guy, you could go at pretty hard because he could handle. This guy, you can't raise your voice because he's a little more sensitive. This guy, you can't ignore him because he wants attention. This guy, you got to ignore him because he's going to seek too much. You know, like you got to know all those different personalities, and he's done a great job of understanding the different personalities. But this is the first time he's seeing it from the other side. So it's a learning process, not only for us as a staff, but for him as a coach. But he's doing a phenomenal job with that defensive line. I promise you.
Last one, go ahead, Jake.
Hey, Coach. My question is, who are the candidates to have the D and the L patches on their jerseys?
I think we already have 4 leaders. I think it's Charlie is one of the leaders. Cam, Shador, Mate. Who's the other one? Was that it so far?
That's all I know, Coach.
I'm visualizing when we stretch up front. Now the dogs, I give out the dogs week of the game. I identify those guys. See, the thing about it, you know, you have some guys that they've shown you what they could do, but not out there. I gotta say it out there. So a lot of the dogs probably would come from last year's team, not newcomers. Newcomers gotta earn that because I know what you did for them, but I need you to do that for us. And your teammates need to understand who you are and how you come. So that's something that's truly earned, really is. But we have a bunch of potential guys that can fit that mold. Travis is certainly one of them.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh, you didn't ask me nothing. Yes. You good? Best waitress ever at one point, right? We're grown out of that.